folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living. We're going to give you an update from the weekend and show you what we're up to right now. Bryan is working on the corners of the foundational siding job. So the idea was to not do metal all the way around, but save the corners for a stone facade treatment that would make it look like the bottoms of the two front corners of the house are on stone pillars. So I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit more about that, the materials that we're using and all of what goes into it. So also keep you up to date on all the other little projects around that we're trying to get done on a decent weather day. You know, right now the wind is kind of stopped, but it was almost a repeat of last weekend where we had, well, pretty much steady 20-mile-an-hour winds. Bryan was working on all morning trying to prepare the corners of the house here for the stucco treatment so then we can put the stone on. So stay tuned and we'll fill you in on how we're doing the corners of the house to do a stone facade treatment. So tell us about the mesh, first of all. This is what is...
It's a metal lathe or stucco. So it grabs the stucco when you rub it in there.
So it's got like... Yeah, it's almost like tilted up like an angle, kind of like honeycomb in a hive. It seems like got like a little bit of an angle and a little bit of a lip inside. So when you spread your...
When you spread the stucco, it'll get pushed in through it.
Yeah.
And then...
Okay.
It's like a reinforced and
yeah.
ladder.
So you can't just throw on stucco on top of styrofoam. And then what about these trim pieces? This is a new element.
Yeah, I decided to do that just so there's a crisp edge here. Because otherwise it would have been, the mortar would have like overlapped the metal. Mm-hmm. It would have looked kind of crappy. So
okay.
I thought if we do that, then we could put the stone in between.
Yeah.
Look nicer.
What's that kind of screw?
It's a big flat-headed screw. It's made for the mesh.
Yeah. It's got almost like a washer head on it. Okay. So this is the side there that you needed the sort of extend.
Self-piercing lathe screws.
Self-piercing lathe screws. Cool. Pretty good. Bryan mentioned he actually decided after getting this project started that he wanted to add this edging piece just to make a crisper line between where the steel siding ends and where the stone ends, so it's not like the stone getting all over the steel. Just using a finishing nailer here to get it into place, but it's nothing structural. It's just going to have that visual where it's holding. It's going to look a little bit more like the stone is coming out from the steel siding itself. So it's going to give it more of that 3D look. And, you know, you have to work with the mesh itself. The mesh is it's not super thick, but it's not super forgiving either. It's still kind of a bear to work with, and you got to fold it into the creases and then cut it up with the metal trimmers to be able to make those lines nice and crisp so that everything folds in together on the corners. And then once everything has got a nice clean line, you can see how it lays nice and flat there, and edging, it has a nice line to it right on the corner there. And let's go around that corner. So you can see how the steel siding looked when it's all finished, how the ground sort of butts up against it there. Bryan put some stone elements right around the front. He kind of wants to do this in a couple other places as well, but just kind of line up some stone against the house with our native stone. And still got another project for the horizon this weekend, and that's finishing that peak. Unfortunately, the weather did not cooperate on Saturday. It ended up being another very extremely windy day, so not a safe day to be up on a ladder on the deck and carrying big pieces of siding. So deciding to maybe try that out on Sunday instead. All right, guys, so a couple of videos ago I was telling you about this really cool Colorado map I got, and I wanted to mount it on a backboard and hang it on the wall. But it's in a bunch of different pieces, 9 different rectangles here. I was trying to figure out the best way, but what I found was one of those science fair poster boards. So it's like a foam board, lightweight. It does have a couple folds in it, but I'll stiffen those up on the back side if I need to. All right, folks, so what I'm finding with the map is that it's an exact fit to the poster board. I can line up all of the rectangles, and they don't even have to have any gaps. Like, they fit perfectly on the board. So I'm thinking I might just use glue dots, another craft item. I'm not sure if I have any. I might have to pick some up, but still haven't decided about the frame yet. But we've got plenty of wood around and plenty of ways to make it look kind of rustic looking. So I think I'm gonna do the glue dots on the corners and see how that lays out. There's not gonna be any gaps between the squares. There's gonna be just a slight, couple millimeters on the top and the bottom of the poster board. So it's gonna look pretty tight. Okay, so I raided my craft cupboard and I found some glue dots. These are called Zots. The only thing I'm concerned of is that they are small. See how small they are? That sort of, they're smaller than my fingertip. So I might have to use several of them per square, spread them out. So this is the kind of thing that you use when you're doing scrapbooking and other paper crafts to adhere things without making a mess. Self-serve on a ribbon, and you can just peel them off. You can see them. They're pretty translucent, but you might be able to see a few of them there. Oh, okay. So just peel them off. I'll probably put 3. I'll probably put 3 on each side. Corner, middle, and hopefully I have enough. This is a pack of 300, probably halfway through it. So see how it looks after that. So as you can see, putting together the map, there's no gaps in between each square, which I think was the intention of the printmaker, so that you could put this together in one giant map. So I think that looks fantastic, and wait till you see it close up. Okay, everything mounted, hundreds of glue dots later, and yeah, let me scroll back here. It's pretty cool. There's a little bit of a margin on the bottom, nothing on this side. Tiny margin on this side, so hopefully that's easy to frame out. I think I'll have to mount it on another piece and then frame it. But yeah, you could tell the prints weren't exact. I'm not like a super exact person, but okay, besides that little mouse hole right there, there's a little bit of a gap right there, but it was a little tight right here on this line, and then a little bit of a gap there, but that's okay. I wanted to make the edges line up more than I wanted to reduce gaps, but that's gonna look cool, man. So the next step will be framing. We'll keep you guys posted on the map project. Hey folks, so part of my job this morning is to start taking the tractor and working on moving this dirt pile out into the woods. What we're doing with it is that we're actually gonna be filling in some dirt where Bryan wants to build the workshop eventually, and just get this out of the way. Vigo's dirt pile is going to stay, but just getting this one that's on the corner of the driveway here out of the way, because that's going to get in the way of our plowing for snow. It's easier just to dump the snow down the hill there. So trying to remove all this today. It's a nice mild day, temperature-wise, going to be 50. Most of the snow in the woods has melted, as you can see, so should be no trouble getting back there. Bryan's
got big scoop.
Vico's pile isn't so high anymore. It's getting a little muddy in the woods, so I stopped bringing the dirt over there. Dirt pile gone. It's flat. This was like undisturbed ground, so I didn't really dig at this pile too much. But look at all those big rocks right there. Whoa! So, not too bad. My first job excavating with the tractor. So our weather break came on Sunday. It wasn't as windy out. It wasn't as cold, especially on the south side of the house with the sun. Could work even without a jacket on. I was busy moving dirt, and Bryan was getting the soffit pieces in and getting the trim pieces up there and finishing up those last few siding boards with the cedar shakes. Getting there, almost done. The last piece or two. Of course, he's got to cut around the beam, so he had to make a big cutout on this piece. Thankfully, the wind did not stay around today, so Bryan could get this done. Looks like he got it all done. Maybe one little tiny baby triangle. Last two pieces.
Yeah.
Before the sun goes down. It goes on top.
Story of my life.
Story of your life. Well, looking good. Well, folks, so that is a wrap for us for the weekend. You know, we prepped up everything so we could get the stucco ready to go. The stucco really is a mixture of cement and sand, and that's what's going to get adhered to those corners. We're also going to do it down here at the very bottom underneath the steel here. So along the ground as well, and we'll do the stone treatment down there. That'll probably look better. Having that stone on the bottom blending into the ground there. But, in general, even though we did get some snow overnight and it was a lot cooler today to work outside, it was kind of nice up on the deck. So it's helpful for Bryan to finish up the window trim up there. He just had a couple of the window pieces to put together, but everything looking really good coming together as far as the siding. And so we're hoping that next Saturday might be mild enough we'll be able to do the stone, the stucco and the stone next weekend. Well, we'll see. You never know around here with the weather. It's kind of what we're at the mercy of getting everything done. So that means we'll probably be having to look at some indoor projects next. So we'll see what we can get done. As far as the rest of our outdoor work, we still want to take that chimney off the roof, and we still want to do a little bit of landscaping and work on the driveway, but yeah, if these freezing temperatures stay around, we'll probably just end up doing most of our indoor work instead. So thanks, guys, for coming along. We will update you on the map. That nice Colorado map. the nice Colorado map and some of the indoor stuff we're doing. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Eating something. Something crunchy. What is it? Ah! Oh, the mouse. Ugh. Doesn't look too fresh. Ugh, nasty. There you go.